side of things, you have Magical, who I think is a very snowbally player. Like, this guy needs a good laning phase, needs to continue from that as First Blood.
Rangy
Taken by
Potato
Mineski.
pulls it up out on Blizzy. They're just going for the full defensive tri-lane, and KP's just going to be playing this off-lane solo Enigma, pulling the lane back for himself. Seems like they really want to secure this classic Nico Baby Wraith King, a strong start to the game.
I think Wraith King is going to be... I don't know. I think this is a really hard Wraith King. Like, if you look at the other heroes, I feel like this Sven just kind of eats him up, and the sniper can just outrange him and sort of play from afar. He's got multiple ways to distance himself if he goes for Dragonlance, Hurricane Pike. Once he gets the BKB, the stun becomes relatively ineffective. And this is going to be a really hard game for Mineski to feel comfortable going late game in. And that's kind of wild to say, considering you have an Enigma in your squad.
Yeah. And perhaps like Wraith King is like a really good hero to be able to push down towers, so maybe that's why Mineski's taking this approach. They think if they get Nico Baby ahead at the start, he gets this fast Hand of Midas, a faster Radiance, he's gonna hit that really big mid-game swing where he could just mow down towers and they won't have to worry about the late game.
I think you can't play this Enigma like a neutral late game hero. Like, you have to go for a more mid-game oriented play. Play around the fact that your Wraith King will hit like this 2-item timing and just sort of go for it. Because I feel like the game, the longer it goes on, you're just asking to lose, because Seneko will hit a rock on you. It's so much harder for Mineski to execute their lineup once it gets to like the 35-minute mark.
That's exactly why Febby and Gunnar did disagree with the pick so heavily, but we'll see what team fight builds KP is able to pull out.
I mean, there's something to be said for comfort picks too, which is what people seem to be favoring so far. Like, you saw Hector was like, no matter what, I'm going to play Wraith King. And, you know, fair play. It's what he's good at. It's what he's comfortable with. You're in a best of one situation. You want your team to not stress. And the best way for your team not to stress, pick them what they know how to play. Who cares about the situation?
Nice roll in. If they can get the kick onto him as well. Moon's going to go for the early TP away, but it barely gets him out in time.
Well, it's going to hurt his lane a lot. Has to TP all the way back. This is going to give Magical at least a full minute of space.
Well, don't worry. Old Ninja Boogie is going to trundle along as the Ogre Magi and collect what little of the gold and experience he can while the Lina is away. But this is a matchup that Gunnar said was supposed to be relatively... Essentially, the sniper does prove to be superior just because of his range.
This Blizzy, and he just continues to get forced out of his lane. I mean, the best part about Mineski's offlane, Enigma can just always idle on the range creep, and it'll eventually pull back to him. Plus, you're just denying a lot of XP for the enemy carry. Whereas, like, up at top lane, Nico Baby should have a relatively free time, considering it's a Beastmaster who's level 3. He's largely been jungling.
Magical. Playing the right-hand side because he knows about this rotation thanks to Blizzy's boar that was set up on the high ground.
You know what the crazy part is? The Lina's actually ahead in CS, despite being forced out of so many of those waves.
Yeah.
Doing just fine for himself. In fact, they're identical, tied.
Is that just the nuking advantage that Alina has?
Yeah, I think it's just easier because you can always get harass going while simultaneously farming the range creep. Like, it's possible to deny Lina range creep unless you really mess up.
Enigma doesn't have much way to contest the bounty runes, and this Beastmaster's pretty locked in, so both teams just splitting the bounties and all their supports with a heavy eye towards that mid lane. You see Zayat, who had that 71% win rate of the 7 matches that he played during the group stage. Here on the main stage, he's looking to play what he's most comfortable with. And has already had 1 successful rotation on the Lina, looking for another, but that's where Ninja Boogie comes in. It's just kind of babysitting Moon, making sure that if somebody does try and roll in, he will be there to respond.
So far, so good for Mineski as they continue to hold their kill lead. Blizzy's game continues to be really rough as KP has no problems with just jungling. And if you look at his item build cap, he's deciding to go for the flats. This was, I believe, the correct decision.
Yeah.
Play for the mid game. That's what we wanted to see out of Mineski for them to win this game. Because we do feel like, I don't want to speak for you, but I think they're a little bit outdrafted.
Yeah.
It never feels good having to go for these sorts of items or plays because you know, the onus is on you to end. And I feel like playing late game is almost always easier in a best of one situation.
Especially at TI where the pressure is so high. If you're Mineski, you know that, especially like in Nico Baby's position or something like that, like if you throw one team fight, the game just kind of could be over because Navi are just naturally going to outscale you with this Sven and Sniper
go,
duo,
Navi.
even the Beastmaster
Go,
being able to push
Navi.
nice.
Zayek.
Oh, nice
Tendang.
Zayek will be able to kick him
Moon.
back into the shrapnel here.
Zayeknya suka.
Moon trying to get away
Stun.
another third round of the
Ya,
shrapnel
mati
and
dong.
the assassination not actually
Udah
going to go
satu.
out.
Cus.
That's because the Ogre's
Uh.
just running at the Sniper right now. Thinks about it again, but the bottle hit will allow Moon to stay alive, and it's Zayek who dies instead.
Yeah, luckily for Magical, it wasn't the Lina that got the last hit on that, and in fact, this is going to prompt Moon to go back towards the shrine area. It's going to continue to give Magical a little bit of a free lane, but this is just helping him catch up, not even get ahead.
Nice kan.
Bottom lane.
Zayek lagi mati dong. Mati lah ya. Lakat matekat. Normal ini. Soneko. Soneko doyan buat ini. Buka chat wheel gitu aja. Dari berapa game yang kemarin-kemarin.
But
Chat
you have
wheelnya.
that ward from
Ampun dah.
Magical that's going to be able to see a bit farther to that left-hand side during this nighttime.
Lasitnya masih dipegang sama Wati.
On the upside though, Nico Baby is still top CS.
Tipis dong
So
sentrinya.
all that defensive tri-lane space has warranted a very farm carry that's really trying to pressure this tower.
Ninja Boogie.
If they can actually kill
Sun.
Blizzy, it would be fantastic for them. But Blizzy just
Blizzy.
positioned a little bit too
Oh,
to be able to threaten him past that fire blast.
Nico Baby.
And instead,
Tunggu,
it's all
1-3-1.
about the early
Lima.
objective.
Oke.
Nico Baby has had
Nico Baby.
nobody in his lane.
Nice
half the
raging
time.
They're
potato.
gonna try again here, but the TP coming out.
Aduh, Blizzy mengalami hari yang
Quickly gearing
repot.
up as Seneko shows up to
Ini
give
dia make ini
Blizzy
buat
a
ini sih.
helping hand.
Sepengetahuan gue ya. Cuman buat bocil kan Cuman. Jadi
KP just about to complete the
ngefek banget
blast.
buat
Wonder if somebody
enigmanya.
rotates in terms so they could finally start to pressure the
kalau
tower
nikmanya tiba-tiba ini
in
kan
this bottom lane area.
I
level
think that's why
kalau
Red
di
King is trying so hard to take this
Powerful.
off-lane tower, right? Is that he feels like,
Lebih kalau
once I
watermelon
do this and I build
didor.
up the skeletons again, I'm gonna go
Langsung
bottom lane, we're gonna take that tower down, we're gonna
Langsung
start
cancel
pressuring the tier
levelnya.
2. Let's take these objectives early, but look at the stack that's going on right now.
buset
Raging
habis
Potato.
dong.
5 stacks of poison does get a last hit on all of the weaker creeps there.
Zayek
But leaves the
lagi
rest at
ngegangguin
half
terus.
health for the Beastmaster potentially clean up. He's still going to try and get it with more Shadow Poisons, just going to
Blizzy.
expend his entire mana pool if possible. That's going to be a
Blizzy.
decent amount of farm for him. He's now level 5.
And Zayats, he's gonna go mid, soak up the rest of the XP,
Seneko masih farming.
try to
Zayek
catch up in levels. Raging Potato, like you said, doing just fine for himself. He's gonna farm top area with Moon.
cun cun.
He'll get his level 6 no problem. But Zayats,
Nico Baby-nya.
with nobody in this mid lane.
Nice bor.
Over the kill here, it actually pushes the Lina away.
Datang Seneko,
And from a
tapi
distance,
aduh
they're gonna try
backupan
and poke
belakangnya.
at Raging Potato and see if they can bring him down. The Shadow Word
Jagain
is not
masih
going to
banyak.
come with the damage fast enough. He will TP to mountain to safety.
Terlalu banyak.
And that'll be Mineski picking up a large share of bounty runes there. 3 of the 4.
And you see Raging Potato, he's already got Arcane Boots almost as the Aether Lens.
Zayek.
His position seems just fine.
That damn tower is still alive. Blizzy, Seneko, they're just doing a really good job
Blizzy,
making sure to pull the
Seneko.
creep wave off. Nico Baby, I'm sure, is saying
Nico Baby,
this is
buset,
the
udah
final
naik dah.
hurrah with the skeletons
Gila.
and the second round of the
Naik
catapults.
10.
They're just gonna go for it.
Tuh, Seneko.
Yeah. The only downside about pushing a tile like this, Cap, into the enemy offlane is, simply put, you're giving up free XP.
Yeah.
It's really easy nowadays. You can just Fatal Bonds and run away. and it's going to keep the tower relatively healthy, and this is going to allow Snako, he's going to grab the tome anyways, but he would get it pretty soon after without use of it.
An interesting idea from Nico, baby. Just spotting the skeletons to push that in. The catapult will get the damage on the tower, but he's going to rotate down to bottom. He's going to try and show up for a fight, and he would be right, but can they actually punish them? As they get spotted, Raging Potato is going to be able to get the disruption in.
Mati Zayek.
Spear roll away, but it's just not. They have too many stuns here. Mineski do manage to get that kill with the Sea Dragon still alive. They can keep going if they want. They can try for a tier 2 here, where Navi a little bit slower to go for it because of that skeleton push. They're going to try and go and mirror.
I sort of feel like giving up this tier 2 tower though is a mistake. We talked about how Navi needs to keep pace. Like, even though you have the late game secured, you can't allow Mineski this sort of win condition. Like, this is the best chance for Mineski to have, which is why Magical makes his way down towards bottom. He stops his farm in the jungle to deal with this. I think this is the right idea. Don't just demonstrate that you're willing to give up towers for free. On the downside, Mineski just gonna outmaneuver Navi right here. I really like this maneuver. Getting this mid-tier 1 tower, guys, is even more important than taking that tier 2 tower at bottom. Just for the purposes of controlling that jungle area.
And the more jungle area you can control, the better it is for heroes like Wraith King and Enigma, right? Because they thrive off of open access to jungle areas through the Eidolons and the skeletons. Mineski are not shying away from protecting their own jungle as well, but maybe that's where Navi strikes here. Ninja Boogie, he's in position here. Kill the Hawk, a healthy bit of experience for any support that's a bit lacking, but positioning himself to be able to break the smoke, may not even die for it.
Nggak kuat.
And sure enough, they're a bit scared to dive this tier 2. They're going to try and go for it now, but Science really wants to go for that back line. He wants to stop
lagi
Bone's going to
dong,
turn and quickly
Zayek.
kill him.
Oh, di
As
tip
they
200.
tried far too hard to make that action happen. And ST
200
was well aware of what was happening there, I think.
I think Navi right now is just sort of getting red around the map. Like, anywhere they seem to go towards that top lane push, they're sort of getting corralled. Magical makes his way down towards bottom. Moon is already directing his team to come towards mid to take that tower. These are just clean, crisp maneuvers, and Navi, I mean, they're gonna run into the problem where their lineup, yes, they can go into the late game just fine, but if Mineski just sort of deny them the overall, like, big 5-on-5 team fight, and they just sort of outplay them and outmaneuver them and get these minor pickoffs, they will eventually be able to snowball. And Nico's Baby is going to hit this really nice Radiance timing where they can fight behind, and they can back him up with the disruption. Like, things are not looking all that good for them.
And Mineski has like a very solid 20. Where with the Radiance and the Lina who's coming online about that point, especially with all the team fight items flowing in from the Enigma, they are actually going to be really strong in the 5-man in their own right, where Navi's line up all 3 of their cores are going to need a little bit more time. Nico Baby, it's going to be Primal Roar here. They just find an incarnation. This is very heavy commitment from Navi, so that's going to be from the merch on its Science, the Soul Catcher as well. They're going to drop the goal, trying to finish off
Nggak mati dong si Nico Baby.
the high ground disruption. Now coming from behind. Moon and Ninja Boogie a pair to be able to follow up on the Earth Spirit. Now Magical as well, who's dead. He just tries to lay out as much damage on Lina as possible. Even the Golem coming in for a helping hand. But Mineski easily routing Navi once again.
And that was the buyback too from Zayats. I think he assumed that the fight would continue. We saw what happened in the last game. If you go on this Wraith King, he just
Apakah
responds,
bisa
guys.
comeback?
That is what his ultimate does,
Masih
yes.
bisa.
This is a PSA for Navi.
Agak sulit tapi
And
bisa
for
kok.
Keen, because I genuinely at this point don't know if they know that. That's twice now that they try to make that play.
Tuh
and
mati
again,
dong, dieback dong.
ultimates on the side of
Dieback dong.
Science gotta be careful here.
Masuk.
Man's getting a really good
Belum
shot.
ada.
Look at that
Ih,
ultimate
sumpah dah.
response.
Nice.
Especially with that fatal blow,
Ninja
the
Boogie.
take damage over time. They've already finished up the lead.
Nice.
Ninja Potato's just gonna
3
die to
mati.
the assassination of Magical,
Zayek
and
dapat
Ninja
turun.
Boogie gets
Oh,
clean.
nice.
They challenge for bounties, and this time Mineski gets shut down rapidly.
And if Mineski, conversely, is going to make a
Nice
play like that,
Navi.
they need to have more heroes there.
Yeah.
They still have the black hole. You at least need to threaten that. Going 3-man into the high ground with no vision seems just a little bit
Nice
scary.
Navi.
Nice recovery from
Well
Navi.
played, Navi.
Counted them out a second too late. But still, that was such a head scratcher of a fight they took.
Crystallize.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they still had Golem, they still had all their ultimates up, and Mineski didn't have
Silence.
reincarnation.
Setun.
Pretty obvious that Nico
Belum
would
cukup
wanna
damage-nya.
fight it. Yeah, okay.
Black hole keluar. Black hole. Nice bor.
Finish him off. Chris Blunt has all
Mati.
with Lena here as well. Look good
Oh.
play, cuts him down. Now he's going to be able to get the
Mati
Yule
juga.
Scepter LSA onto Seneko as well. Call it a twofer
Hari yang
for
sulit
Moon.
bung buat Navi bung.
He managed to help get 2 of those kills. Blizzy,
Sabar Blizzy,
possibly a
jangan
third,
keluar.
but it's just hidden away in the trees here.
By the way, I think you can make that play if you took the mid tower. This is why the mid tower is so important. But Wraith King, he just got immediate support. In that situation up at top lane though, Navi, they just overstayed their welcome. And that seems like it's sort of the story of this game so far. It's
keren
whoever
loh ininya
overstays
loh.
their welcome
Yeah.
just sort of gets wrecked. Both teams being a
Mainannya
little bit sloppy.
And Mineski wants to win the last fight, but
has been denied.
coming back up
War
for the
Tango.
Warlock.
Itemnya Snake.
They should not feel like they are that
Sente
much
dua war,
stronger. A very
killing
even
flash.
game, it seems.
Smoke.
5 to 8, 17 minutes in with a
Killing
2,000
break
net worth
sepatu
lead for
70-an
Mineski,
menit
but
ke
they do
17.
have the faster lineup.
Kita lihat
They
si
do have that Midas
Crystal
plus
Light.
Radiance on the Wraith King.
Radiant's top
Denied tower.
has been denied.
Once
Midas
again, the
juga.
tier 2 was denied by Moon.
Lepas
Now it's
sabar.
Blizzy's turn
Best
to
good.
deny the tier 1.
And if you're Nico, baby, you want this
Magical.
game to sort of reset for yourself just a little bit at least.
Javelin
And he's
Midas.
0-0-3. He feels like he's done a perfectly adequate job.
Banyak yang
Things
main
seem
Midas ya.
fine.
Butuh sih ke impact sih buat
He's
luar.
died once this game.
First to be
Vladimir.
able to cross that 10k threshold as well from all those farming items.
Shit.
Probably
Sultannya
telling his
Radiant.
team, let's just chill. Still,
Vladimir.
every single time reincarnation's up, we can take one fight. And then from there, the split push. But I love this. The Blink Dagger pickup from the Sven. Navi trying to enable some earlier timings for their cores because those cores are kind of greedy. Certain items like Blink Dagger can speed your lineup up.
Ninja Boogie
Smoke up
Crystallize.
from Navi as they start moving across the map.
I think the next timing though is BKB.
Good.
Like they got a
Good.
few shots at this,
Good.
but once Sven gets
Good.
BKB,
Good.
this is when he's gonna ignore the
Good.
Radiance. He's not gonna care about any of that. He's gonna get on top of the Wraith King, and he's gonna pop his first and like Wraith King does not come that equipped with armor, which is why
Ninja Boogie. Itu
he
kelihatan dong.
has to go for the AC. I think one time we
Aduh,
saw this
salah
matchup and he didn't
dong.
miss.
He's been
nice
very
three.
headstrong
Yo,
about who he
vision
wants to
sini
go
tadi.
for, just always trying to gun
Sini dia
down
punya vision.
Moon, but keeps on being repelled
Lihat,
back
tuh.
by that Yule Scepter.
I don't even know if I can really call that a pickoff, considering he
Nice
just sort
trigger
of
by Ninja Boogie.
walked into his waiting arms, and
Nice
now the
time,
push towards
nice
this bottom lane
time.
is finally gonna come. They faked it out towards mid last time, but
Radiant's
This
bottom
time around,
tower
they
Well
will
played, Moon.
finish that commitment to the tier 2. Any more map control and Mineski, they're going to start running out of
Yeah.
objectives to take. There's still that Roshan to go for.
down.
Oh, now they've got the Radiance, actually, the Disruption.
Crystallize.
Shadow Demon can actually farm for himself a little bit with the Illusions.
yes, and he can push out this bottom lane consistently, which is exactly what he's
Aduh,
doing,
Zayeknya
which is
055.
going to open up pressure towards the Roshan pit,
What's wrong with
and that'll
Zayek,
make it so
man?
that Navi might miss their next timing when it comes to getting the BKB on the Sven.
How close is he? He's
Lama
got
bisa
a
ngelawan.
Radiant's middle tower.
got a K
is
in the
Bisa
bank
sih.
right now. Magical Sniper, who's not done terrible for himself. He just died that one time in the river where they got wrapped around from behind by Moon. At 1-1-0, he's been farming away with his hand of Midas, now has a Maelstrom, and is looking towards BKB or maybe Hurricane Pike. Feels like the safety of just double BKBs. Navi could actually withstand a lot of this pressure from Mineski, but first they have to be able to get there. And
Modar
Seneko,
deui
well, he'll have to see
Seneko,
his
modar
team on the
deui.
other side. It looks like
Siapa
they are
lagi
going to
yang
have to say
ketangkep?
goodbye to Blizzy as well.
Blizzy lagi
Gets caught by
ketangkep.
Moon.
Zayeknya farming aja dulu.
Two more heroes being fed away by Navi, but similar to
Nico,
the
baby.
previous game, I mean, sometimes you have to throw away heroes for space. And the most important hero in the game is still going to be Magical, who he wants his team to buy him time. He's got a Midas, he's got a Maelstrom, clearly wants to drag this game out, extend the range of the game too for himself.
and their team fight is set up very well to protect him.
Yes.
So all the damage items he has right now, that could be full beneficial.
I mean, the best part is that he's got Warlock Rock. That's the... If you're a core player, Warlock Rock is the best just as a defensive fight resetter.
Yep. You got a tanky core in Sven, who with the Blink Dagger to be able to start fights for you, has the War Cry to be able to make everybody a little bit tankier for you as well.
Oh, BKB. Precise ini. BKB.
And it looks like it's just going to be another little bit of slower game. Much like our last one, where both
Nice
teams
item,
are
the Maelstrom.
content with the farming that's happening. I think Mineski would love to be able to take some more objectives
kill.
like that mid-tier 2. Maybe get themselves a Roshan, but
Let's
first they have to
go
take map
Navi.
control, and Navi has been rapidly throwing heroes down lanes, trying to push waves out.
Okay. By the way, I think that was PKB fully completed for Sniper. That is a massive pickup, and I think part of the reason why he decided to go for that instead of the Hurricane Pike is because I think he understands the position his team's in. There is a decent chance that if Mineski is going to put a stamp on this game, it's in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So get this BKB, be safe, don't be stupid. So many Sniper players or players of these squishier heroes will avoid going for the BKB and they'll get the Flash Shadow, get the Hurricane Pike. You know what that leads to? Getting stunned and dying in 2 seconds. You get disrupted by the Aethelon Shadow Demon, all of a sudden on the Lina, all of a sudden all your net worth, highest in the game, useless.
That's true. At the end of the day, you are also an agility hero, right? That Shadow Demon, if he gets on top of you, could be completely detrimental to your ideas of this team fight. I like the safety and security of a BKB from my cores at this point. But Mineski, they can search for their own security blanket if they want.
Support-supportnya tuh.
Is this team capable of taking Roshan? They don't have great minus armor. Do they have a solar crest or anything out of anybody?
I mean, the one upside is that Lina takes it pretty fast. Lina always hits hard because of her passive.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as you think. It's not ideal. In the previous game, we saw that they had a TA and they had I think they had a solar crest, so they were able to take it so fast.
Yeah.
But Mineski, I did a terrible job of taking it.
I'm a little bit concerned that Mineski just backed up to their own jungle right now.
You feel like they should still be trying to play?
Yeah, you're just letting Navi control the triangle. You're letting the Sven farm out some of the safer areas that are outside of the triangle as well, pushing out mid, taking some of the farm on the right side of the mid lane as well.
I don't know, who knows? Maybe the Wraith King plus Lina can carry this. Remember we saw earlier in the year, we saw like a Wraith King go Echo Saber. That's right, that was Ajit at the summit. He was against his Sven and he went Echo Saber after his Radiance. And then he just got 2-shot every time because he didn't have an AC.
Yeah, that can't possibly be the build.
Like, you would think that the core concept of Wraith King would counter Sven, right? Because Sven is very heavy on that burst. So you think that second life would matter, but if you don't buy armor items, oftentimes it doesn't. Which is why he's going to go for the AC. He saw the Summit games. He's like, that was a terrible...
Echo Saber after Radiance.
I do not want to replicate that. It makes no sense.
Hey, there's our first, not solar crest, but smaller one in the Medallion of Courage. Would definitely help them take Roshan faster. And I do really want to see them take Roshan. Just to be able to play with that kind of fearless drive that an Aegis allows you to be able to do. You have multiple avenues of initiation now. By the way, Lina, Moon has a Blink Dagger with his BKB Yules. You also have a Blink Dagger on Raging Potato with an Aether Lens. So watch out for those initiations with disruption again on a hero like the Sniper.
Yeah, I could easily see the reason he went for the Blink BKB is so he can get to the back line, make life easier for himself.
Moon's trying to do just that right now. Not with a Shadow Blade, but with
Aduh kurir.
As the rest of his team is pushing forward towards where he's at, they're going to be able to smoke pop on a Blizzy here, quickly taking him down. And Moon knows the Magical somewhere around here, but Magical does manage to get the BKB off first.
Jangan mati lagi.
The rest of Navi, who are pushing forward for Bounty Runes, quickly TPing to the other side of the map. Zayat. He may just try and roll forward to get that other Bounty Rune. If he does, though, he's going to be met by Raging Potato, who does get the instant disruption. Nico Bacon's here to catch him with the Rainfire Blast as well. Spears does not get a chance to roll out of this one.
Ada apakah dengan Zayek di game ini?
Their item timings So
Yeah.
both teams are okay with the pace of
Udah
the
sofon
game.
lagi.
Yeah.
It's always weird when that happens.
Let's
Because
go
neither side is
Navi.
really playing with that much urgency. I think Navi's content to just sort of let them get these individual pickoffs, and Mineski's content with just sort of getting a little bit more map control at a time. This is one of the TI best of one syndromes for you.
Aduh, gawat.
Just a
Aduh.
little bit of to make moves.
Yeah, and
Nice
is that more
game.
beneficial to Navi because we both agreed that they had better late game, or is the timings of AC and Ashiva's around the same time for this Lina and Raid King, is that just going to
Farming terus fan-nya.
completely
Farming
negate
terus biarin dia.
Navi's farm on their big physical damage course?
I don't know if it'll completely negate it, but
Disruption could save Rich Potato, also managed to get the purge. They have Yule Scepter, no stun to follow that up.
Nice
They
stun.
use Flash, they use BKB,
Nice
but now they
bore.
have to get rid of gold, but the problem
Black
is
hole dong.
that
Oh, hilang.
managed to get the black hole right
Semuanya
away.
buyback. Zayek, please Zayek.
Speed whatsoever, but they had no
Zayek.
damage to be able to
Nice Zayek.
The baby was just a little bit too far away. A great upheaval, slowing everybody
Cabut,
down.
sumpah,
Magical
cabut,
response
cabut,
to
sumpah,
Moon, but
cabut.
Moon with the double damage,
cabut,
he can
sumpah,
actually
cabut,
fight
sumpah,
through that
cabut.
BKB,
Jangan.
but Magical
Sumpah,
does
sumpah,
manage to
jangan.
get to the high ground, so instead he'll turn back to help finish up
Jangan,
Zion.
jangan, war.
Multiple
Aduh,
buybacks from Mineski,
mati
they need to be
dong.
able to get more out.
Ngelek dong, aduh mak, ngelek.
Yules trying to defend against Crystalline as best as possible. Disruption there as well.
Matiin ke baby-nya.
Oh no, and
Tuh,
LSA actually
matiin
barely
ke baby
manages
dong.
to
Nice.
but Moon is still
Ini
dead.
ke baby. Nah,
Baby
pecah.
tries to
Sniper in the back.
Aduh.
around, and the shadow poison to be able to finish off Crystalline. But Nico Baby
Magicalnya free hit sih.
looking to be
Magicalnya free hit sih.
by Magical. Pew!
Magicalnya free hit sih. Piu, 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 piu. Piu, piu.
Mineski, and now
Zayek.
Ninja Boogie will fall as
Aduh,
well.
disruption.
Mineski
Tuh.
flying back to try and take that fight. They said this is going to be where we
Hilang kan,
break
Cok.
Navi. And
Bang.
what a big pop there for Raging Potato.
Ah.
That's multiple kills he's gotten off the
It's okay.
shadow poison, but at the end
Show
of the
fight,
day,
we care.
it doesn't fix it. That was a bad fight for Mineski.
They weren't able to get on top of the sniper.
Buyback.
That is the biggest
Buyback.
thing. It was even a very good hold
Okay.
from KP.
It's
He
still worth
threw
it
it in
now.
the hopes that he was going to catch heroes
Yes,
on the
but-
very edge, and the way that he was positioned
Yes,
onto the high ground made it nearly impossible for
Magical.
Navi to follow up. No one was going to
Navi.
walk through that hole to get to him.
Gila, Bos.
See that again. There were so many good ways that Mineski were able to
Okay.
crystallize here, but the fact that the golem gets dropped and now is just enough for Crystallize to be able to close this distance. Gets a primal roar out from Blizzy as well. Once they take out that
Blizzy.
he's just so slow to be able to get damage in because that upheaval from Sineko.
Sineko.
Moon shows up, but it's about a little bit
Wow,
farther
keren.
forward that he overcommits trying to
Ini
finish off
support banget sih
Magical.
emang. Jiwa
Especially
supportnya
since
muncul
he
di
had
sebelah
forced him to
dimana.
use that BKB,
Terlens
but
ya.
Yeah, and you can see the
Buat nyelamatin
frustration in his
teman-temannya.
face. He should feel it.
Nice.
And the fights are always going to look like that if you can't get to Magical. It's going to be that slow peck of death. He had so much space to play with in that fight. This is exactly what Gunnar and the panel were talking
Masih
about. I
bisa
really
kok.
liked the read on the game.
Lihat
They were going to
aja.
say, this game goes
Skor
on lane.
terakhir tuh,
The
itu
sniper,
masih
he's just going to
bulan Navi
outrange
ya.
you. Regardless of
Dengan
what items you get on
kebanyakan
this Lina,
matinya Mina.
it's going to sit back,
Dyer's
hit
middle
you from
tower
afar.
is
You're going to
under attack.
overextend trying to get to him.
Blizzy.
and now he can go back for that flashy item in the Hurricane Pike. A better answer to be able to get some more distance against this Raid King of Lina.
Gak
I
galak.
mean, distance is just going to be the name of the game, and Navi have it in spades, both through the sniper as well as the distance and range of this
sih itemnya dia?
Fatal Bonds plus Warlock.
It wasn't
Yes.
really an ideal fight for the Sven. He had
Yeah.
already committed
Kuras
his God
parah.
Strength.
Yep.
Kuras.
Plus, he was
Kuras
sort of in an
parah.
awkward position. Wasted a lot of his HP too, and his
Kuras
BKB just
bener.
trying to kill an ogre. But that goes to show you how good of a sniper game it is, and
Yep.
it also goes to show you who is right in the game of chicken, where both teams were willing to farm.
Whoop.
Chris- Point blank as Blizzy trying to find the angle right now. Does have the roar, doesn't want to use it on Nico Baby, nor does he want to use it on Ninja Boogie. So this is just going to reset things for the time being. Magical thought about walking up that hill. Let me tell you, Cap, no matter what
Nice,
you
nice.
think about the game, no matter how
Going
far ahead you are, don't walk up hills blind.
Dyer's bottom tower is
Don't
under
do it.
attack. Dyer's structures
Okay,
are
Mineski,
fortified.
knowing
Okay.
that that fight was kind of spoiled
Tuh.
by that fast reaction of
Mas from
Crystallize. They just send Moon, go get one of those bounty runes. He's going to try and push in the mid lane, but Magical, he's not slowing down one bit with this Aegis.
Dapat tower. Loncat crystallize-nya dong.
They actually spotted
Oh,
Potato
pew,
Eyes.
pew, pew.
Mineski did not plan very well for the vision to the
Magical.
Beastmaster, and now the supports are going to get caught
Magical.
into, but he
Mega kill
does have a
streak.
force stab. Gets
Pew,
to
pew,
low
pew.
ground. It doesn't really matter for
Dapat si
Navi.
tower 2 ya.
They have waited long
Mineski nggak
enough. They
ngeliat
say
kok.
now's our time
Nice,
to be able to
Magical.
wrest control of the map back from Mineski.
Smoke
We're going to be
Navi.
the ones to take objectives.
Apakah dia mau
Just
naik?
even threatening
Oh iya, dia
going
udah
into the
mulai.
high ground.
Yeah, they
Oh,
did smoke
what?
so that they can sit
Itu
behind
apa
Magical.
itu?
He's got the Sages, and he's taking this pretty quickly. And the best part about playing Sniper in a game like this, Cap, is you have so much that can
sakit
frontline
tuh.
and initiate for you.
I mean, just look at the way he's just chopping down this tier three.
Habis box BKB. Nice board. Matiin dia bu. Black hole. KP. Stun. Dur. Piu piu. Piu piu. Piu. Zayek. Zayek. Piu piu piu. Nice. Sumpah. Sumpah sumpah keras. Let's go Navi. Navi Navi. Navi Navi. Magical. Magical. Terus dapat barang. Oh what? Harap? What? Oh dia nggak punya buyback, oke. Oh masih ada. Ah, ini gue ini. Terus. Ayo terus. Hit enchantnya. Sumpah 32 menit. Ya kali bos. 32 menit magicalnya free hit. Magicalnya hit enchant terus. Hilang tuh. Pistolnya Don. Masih terusan. Tapi nggak ada yang jagain. Oke, itu oke. Wait, itu ini. Itu kok di atas Zayek.
It depends on what you
Bentar.
can do with it right now from Mineski.
Bentar. Itu
There's no
Zayek.
bounty runes to go for, which is unfortunate for
Bentar.
them, but there is a mid tower for them to go for.
Zayek.
You have to claim some real estate back on the map. It's
Bentar.
only for Navi, but you can see how impossible the fights
Gue
feel
mencium
when
bau-bau
Navi
ada
are
mau
just
sesuatu
diving at a base to
mengharap.
try to end the game.
What is Giants got 8 more seconds
Zayek
for
kok
his
di sini?
TP,
Radiant's
so
middle
they'll
tower
probably just have to give up this tier 2 for sure.
Yes,
But Navi, at what point do you commit the buyback to defend this high ground?
you probably
Dia nggak ada
don't.
buyback.
is under
Aduh.
attack.
You really don't want to in this position.
You just say, okay, if they take it, if they have the power to take
Oh,
it, just
Zayeknya
call it
balik,
one lane
Zayeknya
appearance,
balik,
that's
Zayeknya
good.
I
Oke,
know
dia mau
fight 4
kayak
on
gitu.
5, and since Mineski used buybacks for that defense, they don't want to overextend, but
Moon.
Nico Baby's taking it so quickly. They're seeing the power of the solar crest
Nana.
here, and they might just
Nana.
trade racks.
The upheaval is about to fade away, so if Mineski
Gila ini
want
tuh
to,
harus
they can
keras.
start retreating. As
is
soon
a-
as they finish up this melee barracks.
I can't believe they
Nico
just
Baby.
traded racks like that. Mineski, they just sort of went for it, and
Try
Navi
silent.
weren't prepared to fight.
Dari Zayek tadi.
Navi really don't want to let Mineski
Baik,
be able to
semua
get away
balik,
for free, especially with a
bubar.
sniper
Wah,
up in
Allah
2 seconds
dihancurin itu
time,
pohon.
but Mineski, a clean escape.
Nice ward
And the
sih.
gold lead
Lihat
has
ada wardnya
been
di sini.
just cut
Ya kan?
almost completely. Even with the Aegis, if the
Sentry.
sniper's in that bad of a position,
Nggak
if you
kelihatan dong.
overextend to try to end the base
Biasanya
like
kan di
that,
sini.
Yep.
you're gonna get caught out. They
Biasanya
are
tuh
gonna get on
di
top of
sini.
you. What's really helped so far is his
Kayak
team's
gini
able to
kan, tapi
frontline
dibikin di
and
sini.
get so far ahead of him
Nice.
that he can just fight. But there wasn't a lot of open ground for his team to cover. It was either where they were or the fountain.
10
Gokil.
minutes go, Mineski, we're up by almost 7,500 net worth. Just a minute or two ago, it was Navi up by 5K,
Waduh.
and now we find ourselves in a dead even game
Gamer dong.
in this best of one,
Udah
the
gamer
last
dong dia.
series of the night. Both teams
Apakah harus?
feeling the pressure of TI building up,
Oh, barter.
Radiant's
and
bottom
some of the cracks
tower
have begun
Barter
to show.
stride. Barter stride.
And Navi gonna do the smart
Content.
thing, try to reset the game for themselves,
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
shrine, but Mineski is just doing the exact same thing. And they have taken full advantage of the fact that Navi did go for that ill-advised fight, trying to end the game right there. They could have been happy with just taking the rack, but felt like they sensed blood,
Nipotnya dia.
The
sensed
buybacks.
weakness.
They may not have it on Nico Baby, but the
Tapi-
rest of the
Oh,
team
kena full lagi sih.
could be getting their buyback soon. They do have BKB, an Aghanim Scepter for the Lina.
Gamer
That's
dong.
such a big pickup on her.
Nice banget
This is
Sonego.
your
Nice item Sonego.
sniper killer at this point.
Yeah. I mean, when he's only sitting at
That's an
1800
Cuman.
HP, having a nuke like that, half his HP just
Pusing
through
dong,
the pure
ngeliatnya
damage
dong.
of the Laguna Blade
Ampun dong, Sonego dong.
will certainly do a lot for Moon if he can get there. Rage This is his own. Look at him. He's got the level 20 talent, and he's building towards that Aghanim Scepter. He could buy it right now.
Tuh gitu supportnya.
But I think he's
Dia ward dia
waiting till he
dia
has
ada.
enough to be able to hold on to buyback as well.
Beda kalau pro player memang jago.
That'll be pretty scary, especially if he can manage to get up to level 25 in the next 4 minutes, which is what we're waiting on for Mineski, I believe, as Nico Baby doesn't have that buyback. We also have Roshan, who could be spawning quite soon, and that's why we're going to see a smoke from Mineski.
Kuat banget, bukan.
See if they can find their opening, find their window.
They want to continue to play aggressively on the map, continue to take for more. They know this game is out evened up completely. Racks for racks.
Navi gave you a second chance in this game.
Dire's middle tower.
A second opportunity to be able to make it through this just crucible of best of ones in this playoffs and move on to the next round.
Harusnya sih kelihatan dari.
But how are you going to take advantage of that opportunity? How are you going to be? Are you going to sit back and farm and wait till you have your buybacks, play it safe in that regard? Or are you going to try and challenge this Roche? Is very clearly setting up for and just spawned.
Looks like they're content to chill for the time being, but they've got to get back to this Roshan pit cap. The benefit of Navi actually losing their mid racks here is that they can just kind of defend.
Ini sadar deh.
Really goes down with the inner beast and this minus armor and all this physical damage.
Sumpah
Mineski,
Black Hole.
they're moving over nice and fast, but the Hawk has already spotted them.
They have to respond to this in
Roshan di up.
time.
Not gonna be fast enough.
Diambil sama
Now, if
Navi.
anything, Mineski
Nice.
and that's exactly what's nice.
Zayeknya.
Almost finish him off, but he does manage to get a force staff down at the low ground, disappears with the Glimmer Cape.
Udah
And the
mati
shots
dong
from the
saya.
Eidolons will not
Ngalian isu yang
finish him off. So,
well played.
Navi do manage to get that
Well
Aegis
played, Zayek.
and cheese for free. Mineski do not get caught though in their awkward positioning, but they're also not slowing down.
What?
They're thinking they may catch Navi by surprise.
Yeah, maybe
War.
Navi will split up to farm a little
War?
bit, see
No.
what they can get, but they've got to be so careful because they're all-encompassing teamfight
Oh,
ability.
they found the move.
Ada yang ketangkep moonnya hilang bor. Kayaknya nggak ada buyback deh. Kayaknya nggak ada buyback deh. Moonnya nggak punya buyback. Nggak ada buyback dong, lihat takut buybacknya.
Wants to use all that damage
Moon.
to try and take
Oh,
down
moon
the
ada,
tier
moon
2 if they don't
ada.
find anybody else. And
Oh,
Mineski immediately go for trying to split push the map.
Elah,
Have to
segala
come back soon at
45.
this rate. Oh man, it's catching the
Ketangkap,
one
ketangkap,
rolling in.
ketangkap.
Trying to get
Kabur Zayek. Kabur Zayek.
They should be able to quickly bring down Zayed, and again, he has overextended himself.
Yeah, this is just going to get one-for-one with the tower. Secure.
Right.
They're trying, Navi. This is the right move for them to take. There's no other tower that they should be pushing with Moon in a position to come for the buyback.
Especially with the level 25 coming in for Crystallize, as well as an Assault Cuirass. That is a massive upgrade.
Yeah, plus he doesn't have his ulti. It's
Satu
fine.
lagi itu cuk.
Just
Oh, udah dikasih.
chill out. It's the onus is entirely on
Bingung
Mineski
amat ya.
Yeah, and
to be able to find a
Mineski,
way out of this game.
I still think this is a very hard game for them, but it does feel like they're making very good decisions. They're being aggressive on the map. They're trying to take fights even when the enemy's going for an Aegis because they know that they're sort of on a timer. Like they're still playing with that sense of urgency.
Monagani.
I just sort of feel like it might have been a little bit too greedy with some of their picks.
Yeah.
Change Laguna Blast damage type
They
to
still can
pure
do it though.
and
I
allow
mean, the
to
best part
slash
about
to spell. Buset
this
deh.
Enigma is all it takes is one.
Serem.
Get up that one, KP.
Laguna
Matt Blink
Blade-nya udah.
Dagger, Midas, Solar Crest, Vlad's, and is going to be working towards a refresher. That may just
Wah,
be
joget dong.
Radiant
what Mineski needs to be able to turn this game around. Let the black
Blizzard.
hole get canceled. The first one by the chaotic offering and surprise them with the second one.
It's the roar on top of that though, that's the problem.
That's true.
And they've got long range silences. I think Sniper, what talent did he go for on 20? He decided to go for the Assassinate Cast Time. I love that talent. When you need quick cancels, he's almost never going to get caught by the hole just based on pure positioning. So being able to cancel it himself on top of that is so important. And KP also isn't going to go for a BKB or anything like that, it looks like. So they got multiple ways to cancel a cap. From range, from distance, with no commitment. without having to expend the rock at this point.
Tell you, Blitz, it has been a long opening day as we are closing in at midnight
Smoke
here in
Navi.
Shanghai, and I
Smoke,
can't
Navi,
imagine how the players are
Smoke,
feeling right
Navi,
now.
smoke.
41 minutes
Kelihatan
in a best of one
Sonekonya.
elimination on the line. You've
Nice,
worked so hard to be
Hydron.
able to get here.
Nice,
Navi, they've worked
Hydron.
all year long to be able to get here, while Mineski have
Hydron.
had plenty of
Nico
shakeups.
Baby
Nico
nya
Baby
naik.
charging up into the high ground. One of the few heroes that can ignore the and just
Oh, dia
face
mau jalan
tank.
di belakang. Oh, dia
Navi,
ngejar ke atas.
they chose not to take that fight around the ranking. They're instead
Okay.
going to push into the top lane. The Magical start laying down that damage onto the tier 3.
This is what led them
Kurung nih. Ya.
firstly to bottom.
Got the disruption, but now Raging Potato in some trouble.
Pada naik war.
Slowing down this Fed, but they're gonna
Black
use
hole,
the
black
as
hole.
well. He does have buyback.
Iya, BKB
They may be
semua.
coming from Navi. They need to be able to get outside of the base. Back to
Fan-nya
safety,
sumpah
but
sakit
Nico
itu.
Baby just won't let him.
Sumpah,
He's gonna stay on
sumpah,
top
sumpah,
of the
sakit
slide.
sih.
Now the BKB's
Glimmer.
already used, and Magical's at half health as well. He's gonna go for Snako, but that will summon a fresh golem. Mineski need to be careful with this one. There's the golem with the fatal bonds as well. Nico Baby tied up to move.
Satu hit.
Doesn't care,
Nice.
keeps on marching forward.
It's okay,
Does
it's okay,
manage
it's
to stun
okay.
a follow-up stun as well on the Magical, but Moon has been
It's okay,
forced
it's
away.
okay, it's
Blink
okay.
back now from
It's
Nico
okay, it's
Baby,
okay.
but Zion
Woo!
sees that opportunity
Tuh.
to slow down the
Ya,
hero.
bahaya
He's now
sekali.
finished up the Enigma as well. The roll in from Zion. Managed to nail the
Wow,
range,
sakit.
but dodge
Sumpah,
another
sakit.
stun with the
Sumpah, sumpah,
disruption.
sumpah.
Moon, now
Sumpah,
he's the one who
sumpah,
sees
sumpah,
weaknesses. He blinks forward, but
Sumpah,
Zion has
sumpah.
already rolled a little bit too far away
Balik,
for the goal
balik.
center. Sam goes for
Balik,
Raging
balik.
Potato, who does
Balik,
manage to
balik.
merge,
Nobar
but
jalan.
there's a roll away from
Nobar
Zion.
jalan.
As they see the buyback from KP, Navi is on full retreat, and Mineski is on the hunt
Pasti.
to find anybody.
Udah
Not
ini.
yet anyway. 4 seconds for a blink up for Nico
kejauhan.
Baby. He's got a blind blink in over and over and over again, but Navi are just too damn fast. They will not be caught by Nico Baby. They will just give up their stride and say,
Oh,
that's
ada.
fine with us. Force another buyback.
All right, so two things about that fight. One, the initiation into the base, all inning for the SD.
Yes.
Not really sure what that was all about.
Yeah, I was like, do they know he doesn't have buyback or something? That was a curious one. And then I saw he died, and he did have buyback.
I mean, it is important for him to die. He's got the Aghanim Scepter,
Yes.
reset on the disruption, but
Yes.
not so much for diving behind that base, using your cheese. Because part of what happens is you force your sniper out of position going for this play.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was KP. He was in the trees at the top area, and then he just got caught out and died.
Yep.
Maybe if he has black hole, or if he's able to catch the back line, he can get some sort of pull for his team, but just got caught out before he was in any position to do so.
I was very surprised that Nico Baby gave up on that chase and
Yeah.
turns towards Sineko. When he had Magical, he could just keep running at Magical in that place, and Magical wouldn't be able to turn around like he did later.
And you can see KP hiding in that top area.
Ends up getting caught. It just, you know, this is his signature Enigma, but hasn't had the
Whoa.
we've seen in the past.
Yes, not at all, but I mean, it is a very hard Enigma game. When you're staring down a rock plus roar plus the assassinate,
But at the same
Ala,
time,
wih.
you chose to pick
Sumpah
that hero
tangannya
into
sih
these. There's
beda
no
pro
way that
playernya emang
KP
jago. So.
said no to this hero, and they picked it anyway. He had confidence he would be able to pull something, some sort of
Kalau
rabbit out of the hat against these
Kecil
hard
keluarga gue itu
counters.
udah mati nih.
there's so many hard counters, Cap.
Hehehe.
Everybody loves to cook with a stunner or a way to cancel it on the side of Navi. It's not even like they have an all-major lineup either.
Nangkep dong. Cabut tuh.
Zion
Dong.
is going to be stunned up. Missile play just to make sure. Instant buyback coming out. Navi, they really want to take this fight right now. It seems like it with a buyback coming out from Zion. They think there's something wrong with Mineski's position, that they can win the engagement, but Mineski, they played it pretty cautious.
Yeah, just for a second it looked like Mineski had stepped forward a little bit too far as they take back the gold lead.
Selfish.
I mean, they've been in a pretty even position this game, despite what we talked about being such
Nice
large
goal.
issues for them.
Naik turun.
And they've actually got some sick upgrades coming their way.
Seru
If they
ngeliatnya.
can get to level 25 for Raging Potato, I mean, this is not what I expected was Raging this game.
Yeah, he's got the
Considering
30 XP talent,
Nico.
30% XP considering how far he is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can tell, by the way, he needs some sort of defensive item with how hard Navi goes in on him. They popped the Sven BKB, they wasted their Aegis timing just to be able to try to kill him once. Knowing full well there was a very good possibility that he had the buyback. And if you take a look at Magical's build, he's largely topped out. I don't know if you replace any of those items. Maybe you can keep slotting in and out treads.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he sort of hit his point.
Yeah, looks like he wants to keep his shreds. He's gonna go for the moon shard instead.
Serem sih ini sih.
Poison after poison. Zaya sitting up his
Serem
edge. Gonna
tuh,
get the
cuma
push in.
tuh.
Two-man
Tuh
stun.
nggak mati tapi tuh akan tuh.
Out onto
Wira tuh. Oh mati dong. Aduh. Nggak ada buyback, nggak ada buyback, nggak ada buyback. Oh ada. Bisa dong. Berjalan dia.
So badly, he's willing to put his body on the line to get it, but it doesn't happen. Mineski reset, and Nico Baby will have his reincarnation up again for the next fight.
And these are some wild fights that Navi are taking, or opting to take.
Yeah.
The buyback from Crystallize, I'm not sure what that was about, considering Roshan wasn't quite up yet. That felt like a snap judgment call. Zayats doesn't have buyback in this position either, just simply out of gold. He's had to use it twice previously, and now it might be Mineski's turn to grab this Aegis. And the Wraith King is plenty strong. He's got an AC.
Balik. Satanik.
Aegis, cheese, refresher shard. I'm sure KP would love to have a third black hole to throw in the mix. 47 minutes. I did not expect to see that Mineski, especially after they almost got thrown by Navi. Throne went down to half health before they were finally able to repel Navi and get single kills. I did not expect to see them taking over the late game like they are with this lineup.
I don't think anybody did. I definitely did.
Yeah. I mean, Navi certainly didn't expect that, but
Kalau ada buyback tadi diluarin.
Yeah, what a wild back and forth game. For a second, I thought the game was 100% over. Then they wasted their Aegis timing cap, going for that dive at top.
yeah.
They wasted everything on that. Sure, they got the kill on 2 heroes and they forced a support SD buyback, but just I felt like it was more key. Then they take the fight in that position right there, trying to go for it.
Bisa.
Sort of resets
Mineski yang
things.
menang,
And
ya
the good
dua-duanya
news for
bisa
Navi is that they can just continue to hold high ground around Magical.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
But
how do you push
walaupun
high ground if you're
dengan
Mineski
fokusnya tidak
against
jauh.
Sniper
Itu juga
Warlock?
But the downside is, it felt
Lumayan
like they
lah.
were able to fight for so long and now they just can't. And Mineski is... I mean, Raging Potato is so annoying to them. I mean, this guy's positioning in team fights makes it so that Navi has to pretty much dive his base to get to him. That means he's doing something right. Also, just the sheer amount of farm that he's got. He now has an Aeon disc.
Yeah, that means he can just dive in and get the disruption on this sniper. He's got the charges of disruption as well. And that Aeon disc will allow him to live long enough to be able to get another disruption and maybe a third one. And that could spell doom for this sniper whose top net worth right now but is about to be eclipsed by Nico Baby, who has the better map control with the Wraith King.
Yeah, what a crazy position we're in considering what happened 15 minutes ago with that mad dash towards the throne. So long ago, it feels like. Jabogi dropping the gem so you can check the board on the high ground if it's there. Will be incorrect. But with the gem, they have so much map control. There's an E-blade, by the way, completed by the Ogre. So another way to prevent the sniper from hitting and another way to get on top of him and deal some extra damage.
Okay, I like it.
Radiant's top
I
tower
can dig
is
it.
under attack.
It's a lot of burst damage potentially as well.
Money to burn.
Mineski, I'm sure they're feeling it right now. They have that Aegis cheese, refresher shard. There's no buyback on the Earth Spirit or the Sven.
I mean, they have so many things going for them at this point. Sven is going to go for the nullifier. Same problems arise.
But what are they waiting for? What is the last key to be able to go high ground? Or can they not go high ground and they just have to wait for a mistake?
I'm not entirely sure. Because every time I think one thing, the other happens.
Yeah.
Every time I think that Navi has this like firm grasp on the game, Mineski grabs it back, and then the opposite happens. The pendulum swings the other way, Not really sure where it's going to end up now, but Mineski's going to make damn sure this time it's going to be a lot harder for Navi to get anything out of it, as they're going to increase their gold lead during this time period. They're at 14k now. That's the largest lead that we've seen. But I mean, win probability-wise,
Still very even.
Radiant's top tower.
51 menit
Yeah.
belum kelar game.
what a coincidence.
Sniper with Beastmaster, Solar Press, a Sven to be able to tank on the front line, scaling, like the only hero that really doesn't scale that well is Your Spirit. That's saying something, because Your Spirit's still great late.
Mau muncul.
Mineski do manage to at least
Oh,
take out that
hehe,
tier 2
muncul.
top lane with this time, so they can't actually go for megas once they do decide to go for the high ground. But first, they have to address this bottom lane. With their throne exposed, they cannot afford any silly positioning errors. They cannot allow Navi a quick trip inside their base.
Yes, that is the scary part for
balik
them.
semua.
If they lose a fight, one core hero doesn't have buyback, throne is always an option for them, even if they get mega creeps. Having tier 4s alive against that mad dash against megas is so important.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to make decisions around that. It's like, oh, we can wait it out to the last second once they overcommit, trying to take our tier 4 towers, we can go for buyback. There are plays to be made around that.
Yeah, how many teams have you seen that have like tried to formulate a throne defense and underestimate how fast the damage was going to come in once the tier 4s died and the damage started hitting throne?
I mean, that's what happened in the, funny enough, coincidentally, the Navi versus Infamous series.
Yep.
Game number 2, where they just didn't think about it fast enough, and all of a sudden Navi they sort of won. It took like 2 seconds, but
Nice
they did
smoke.
Navi, is this the time
Moonshot
to
dong
push out?
snipernya.
They still have a minute and a half on the Sven's buyback, but maybe that's exactly why
Culik.
they can go smoke out, see if they can catch Mineski by surprise.
I mean, the worst hero that they would run into is the hero that they are currently running into.
Apakah Ninja Boogie akan
But
mati?
Ninja Boogie gonna evade this as well.
Enggak dong.
Connect to the rest of his team. Be smart.
Hoho, ha.
They're going to push out that bottom lane, knowing that that kind of threat will keep Mineski away from the Navi
Di atas
base.
dong.
Yeah, you gotta keep him honest. You gotta go for some sort of maneuvers once in a while.
Yeah.
If you make no sorts of plays like this, all that happens is you get hemmed inside your base, and you march slowly towards that death.
Yeah,
Radiant's top tower.
14k becomes 18k like it already has. And next thing you know, especially with late game Dota right now, oh, Navi. Here. They're trying to do some sort of slick play.
No idea. I mean, they're around here.
I mean, they went for the hot cooldowns.
They're hoping that Moon
all
comes
about the
back.
vision right now.
Yeah, they're hoping that Moon comes back. Tries to deal with this wave.
Yeah, and he's here.
They make the
Wah,
jump.
sumpah, 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 sumpah.
Navi playing that one out for like the last minute
Ada
and a half.
penculikan di
Blizzy
Black
Cole's gonna
Hole.
catch him right on the edge of that team. That's the gem on the deck.
Refresher.
And immediately KP goes for the refresher inside
Jom.
of Navi. He wants them to
Kalian dulu
know
dong dulu.
he's got that team
Awkward
fight
Navi.
winning ability up again.
You're not going for it.
Nope.
He says by the time this refresher's back up, this is a new sort of sand timer.
Nice try.
Moonshard for Magical. Looks like he wants to go back for Scotty. Is also thinking about maybe a Blink Dagger would help him against all these Blink Daggers of Mineski. Trying to counterplay that idea. Shadow Blade for the Enigma.
It's a cute concept, but I'm not sure if it does too much.
Yeah. You could just as easily take one bit of damage, your Blink Dagger's disabled, and then you just build up a slot, a very valuable slot. And late game items.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gem pickup too. For the brief moment in which they killed Moon and they cut the lead by 2k, they instantly lost it by losing their Beastmaster and the gem.
Yep. Speaking of which, since we're going to late game, right? Mineski controlling all this field. It's, you know, Navi may have these heroes that go late game better than you, but all bets are off when you start getting to your level 25s, when you start getting enough farm that people are picking up their 7th, 8th items in Aghanim Scepters and Moon Shards that they
Bodoh lah,
consume.
bentar dulu lah,
I
bentar
mean,
ya.
who knows? Wraith
Dota
King
dulu lah,
Aghanim Scepter,
penting lah
I could
Dota
see
dulu.
that being a real game winner here. And Nico Baby
Nonton
almost
Navi dulu,
has
bro.
it with buyback.
Yeah, I'm curious
Maaf
to see how much that changes in these
Nonton Navi
engagements.
dulu bentar.
I mean, their same issues always existed, is getting to the backline and finding the sniper.
Astagfirullah.
Once they can do that, maybe it does require
Nice.
2 lives of the ogre, an extra
share
life of the
gitu
shadow
loh.
demon to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Who knows? And their lineup is scaling a lot better than I expected, by the way.
Yeah, they
I
are.
definitely misread how well they could
I
get to this
definitely
point. Like,
I
once it
mean,
got to like
this point.
56 minutes,
Yeah.
take
I thought the
minutes.
sniper would just sort of reign supreme here.
I'm sure a 20k net worth doesn't hurt, but yeah, I agree with you. I did
Doesn't
not
hurt.
expect Mineski to be so strong into this late game. They
I'm pleasantly surprised.
both teams have something really scary in mind though, which is we already talked about how Navi can end the game super fast. If you get to level 25 on Enigma with all those Eidolons like Mineski,
Cabut
just tear
sumpah.
down buildings
Kesum.
super fast. We're gonna try and get a fire
What
on
the
the
view
road.
kena tetep tahu. Mati dong sumpah. Rata bahaya.
They're gonna
Sabar
reset, go in
Navi
for this other
sabar.
Roshan. And Wraith King, did he already complete the axe? Yes, he has. Unfortunately for him, I mean, his team was gonna take it. This will be the blessing.
Who's getting the blessing? Is it Ninja Boogie? It is. They're gonna give him that free extra fire blast, the unrefired fire blast for some extra power. KP. Okay. Popped his refresher. I don't think he needed to do that.
No, I don't think so either, but he did.
Let's go now.
Well, at least Ninja Boogie found it funny.
Yeah, and that's gonna be.
Cendol kan?
You know, it's been rare that I've actually seen
Wajib
the
betul
refresher
dapat
shard
cendol.
now. You don't see that too often. They're gonna go for it right now.
Oh, Zayats with the Aghanim
Sumpah,
Scepter is
nice.
gonna kick Boogie into the tier
Mati
4s.
dong.
He's okay. With the tier
Let's
4s,
go.
actually gonna allow him to be able to get away. The disruption being used out to be able to buy the Wraith King time, but Magical, very safe in the backside, is able to poke at Nico Baby, trying to bring him low enough that they can take
Apakah
away
Navi
that
akan kalah di
reincarnation
sini?
for free, and then they can make the real commitment.
Sampai drone-nya
Looking to be able to
hilang.
force the
Oh,
buybacks
oke
out of
drone-nya.
Crystallize. They've got 30 seconds, and the Glyph is now down. Raging Potato
Coba
got
kita
his
tangkap.
initiation. He's going to go for the sniper with the Soul Taker as well. The
Ya Allah.
to be able to lift through this. Oh, look on the
Allah.
line. That's who had the name on it. It was
Allah.
magical. But where's the buybacks coming out from Navi now? They have the chaos offering on the ground to be able to slow down some of these heroes. They go for the buybacks, but still Crystallize holds
Allah,
onto
taktiknya
him.
mon.
And look at Zayats right now. He is burrowing deeper into the trees, seeing if he can get a positioning for another pickoff like he tried earlier on Ninja Boogie.
Mineski's still really healthy.
Deh.
Looks like they want to continue to
Sulit
go
nih.
for it. But in fact, they're
Bisa
going to
nggak ya?
back out, reset for
Bisa.
at least half a beat.
Santuy lah.
That there is no opportunity. Mineski being very disciplined here, saying Navi, they're getting desperate right now. They're using buybacks. They are on the precipice. They are on the brink of
Jangan
losing
1, 2,
this
3,
game.
4, 5, 6,
Don't give them the
7, 8.
opening by letting them TP, mass TP to bottom lane and go for throne. Push that out with the Eidolons. Make sure we have our early detection system up and running.
And they are choking them out on the map. I mean, what a turnaround.
Oh, war lagi. BKB kebuka. BKB-nya kebuka. Didorong terus tetap makin meninggal. Pada temen. Esnya tuh pure damage itu loh.
Nico Baby, he's daring them. He's saying, I've got 2 lives. Do something about this.
Mega crit.
Crystallize, he's the only one with 2 lives on the side of Navi. Where's he
Awas,
gonna make his
aduh,
jump? Raging
itu
Potato, he'll always find the
loncat
jump
dong.
first, as he's gonna be able to get disruption on the sniper once again. He is gonna be saved though by Ninja Boogie. The Junkers out for the assassination. They're gonna give
Karena Navi
Omegas
akan
here.
selesai di sini kita lihat.
All the way from
Nice banget Nico Baby, nice. Nice kan.
Taneko
Dapat Moga. Moonnya fokus ke tower. Moonnya fokus ke tower. Nggak ada buyback. Nggak ada buyback dong. Nggak ada buyback dong. GG dong. GG dong. GG dong. GG dong. GG dong. Gak ada orang yang gitu. GG. Well played Navi. Oke Navi. Well played Navi. Yup, Mineski win. Well
And you can see
played.
KP with that
Well
look of
played
disbelief.
Navi.
I mean, half an hour into that game, the morale must have been so
Oof.
low, but for them to be able to recover.
Ini sih ngeliat raging potatonya bagus sih. Bener kan? Raging potato emang. Magical skakmat dong. The best ya. Raging potato. Snake. Let's run deh. Let's run. Well played. Oke, see you. Lol, GL next. Iya, cok, sedih no. Kalah Navi, cok. Kalah Navi. Sedih. Well, good luck buat Mineski for next game. For next match lah. Oke, see you. Bye.